what you want, for all that you believe. It's right to fight for what we want, to live the way we please. As long as we have done our best, then no one can do more.
Hello there, welcome to the Flash and Blow podcast. It's number 150 of this iteration anyway. Rah! Oh, bless you. I'm Siobhan, we are the Grumbleweeds. Let's meet the plucky girl assistants, shall we? Any point in me asking you, Brian?
I'm too cold to be American.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I've defected to the nation of Ice Cube.
Right, you see? That's where I thought, that's where I wanted to head. Not Ice Cube per se, but we suddenly went on a step from the usual.
Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
Where I live is continually referenced as the 8th circle of hell from Dante's Inferno.
Oh dear.
It's not a plane of fire, it's one of ice and despair. Welcome to my February.
We also have with us Lilibet the Wonder Girl. Hello, Lilibet. We didn't hear that. Your microphone didn't pick it up.
Okay, any better there?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, now you're out of sync. This is brilliant. It's going so well tonight, boys and girls. 150 shows,
days,
and it's everything that
150
can go
shows,
wrong.
and we have yet to get production standards.
We have standards.
Okay, am I any better?
Certainly seem to be.
Okay.
Yes. Your lips are moving and the sound is syncing with them right. It should be fine.
Good. I will just not touch anything then.
No Spanky this evening, boys and girls, I'm afraid. He's been cordoned off by the CDC. He's not very well. So we give the little sausage our love. And
Is he coming up as patient zero? Because I have bets on the zombie plague.
ooh, that's a thought, isn't it?
Yeah. I know the CDC has plans for a zombie outbreak.
I'm sure they do.
Where everybody's dead within 24 hours. But still.
We've got a freedom of information thing over here. And you can basically put requests into various organisations to find out what they know, etc. And so many people have sent freedom of information requests to the local councils to ask if they've got zombie plans or alien apocalypse plans and stuff like that. That's what I love about things like this. We'll abuse it. I mean, look at Boaty McBoatface. It's a case of we're giving you the chance to name this new beautiful scientific research vessel. What do you want to call it, Boaty McBoatface?
There. For those so inclined, I put in a link in chat to the official CDC zombie readiness plan.
Dude, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. I've got to see that. Yeah. Forgot what I was saying now. No.
Bodie McBoatface.
Yes, and in the end, the authorities, because they got no sense of humour, decided to call the ship the Sir David Attenborough, and just one of the little sort of dingy craft, Boaty McBoatface.
That's where if I ever owned a gun company,
Yeah.
I would name all the guns Kindness Mark IV.
Okay.
Sell to the military.
I get why you'd ironically call them kindness, but why Mark IV?
Because Mark 1, 2, and 3 would be, pistols, rocket launchers,
Okay,
shotguns.
Fair enough. All right. Thank you very much. Good. You thought that through, I can tell.
I did.
I'm very impressed. Ah, dear. How's your week been, Brian?
Did you miss the part where I said the whole 8th level of hell?
I thought you were talking metaphorically.
No, it's literally. I see a
It is
guy
literally.
in, he's all in red. He's got horns and a tail. And a
Is he
pitchfork,
skating?
so. He's wearing a scarf.
Ooh. So many things are now
And
going to
nothing
suddenly
but.
happen that really shouldn't have happened. Lilibet, how was your week?
Well, I turned on my AC this week because we hit 90 degrees.
Do you know what's worrying me, don't you? You've got this huge wedge of cold
Good night.
weather, and you've also got this huge wedge of warm weather. It is that time of year as well. They're going to meet, and there's going to be some fuck-off weather.
They're going to meet somewhere in the Carolinas, right over Spanky's house.
Spanky, don't be like Brian. When there's a tornado warning, find shelter. Don't sleep.
I rolled over.
Oh, we've slept through hurricanes.
Yeah. You get used to these things.
It's not natural.
It's not going to hit my area. Ever.
No, Brian. Ever.
Ever.
Ever. It's a very long time.
Let me put it this way. The last tornado we had in town hit the fairgrounds briefly for about 15 minutes, and that was hilarious because my boss was there that day. And that was in 1996.
Oh, you're due another one then?
Yeah.
Ah, dear. I had a very quiet
Wait.
week. Sorry.
The other thing I did this
Oh, yes.
weekend was went last night and saw Rita Rudner and Robert Klein.
Oh, how was it?
Perform. It was great. She was a lot of fun, and he was amazing. Still in his 80s, and did about an hour set.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really good. A lot of fun. Dave had bought tickets over the summer, and
yes, I remember.
I put it on my calendar, and I forgot. I didn't remember whether or not he'd actually bought the tickets. And so, like Friday night, I looked at my calendar and went, "Oh yeah, let me see if I ever." And looked at his email, and sure enough, there were tickets. So I went. He did like planning adventures, didn't he?
I was going to say, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
There's the bloody Shark DVD.
See?
You know, it's a case of, I've planned things for afterwards. You're not
Keep
going to
you
know what's
entertained.
going to happen when.
Oh, God, that reminds me. I
Classic-
have a bunch of
classic.
pre-orders still out.
Classic Dave, like you say.
I have a bunch of pre-orders and Kickstarters still waiting to come in. So,
Oh, dear me. Yeah. My week's been
But
quiet.
it was fun. Good. You're due a quiet week.
Yeah. They came and they fitted some ramps. I can now get struck by lightning outside my front door as well as my back door. So that's
good.
good.
Convenient.
Yep. Aside from that, charge the car.
yay, Eco U.
Once a month, especially during the winter, because that heating does eat up things. But my God, it's getting expensive. It's almost doubled in price.
I'm a bit worried that your car is warmer than your house.
I love my car.
That's not what makes me worried.
That's one of the reasons I love it. I want to marry my heated steering wheel.
I now pronounce you Mr. and Mrs. Carr.
She's called Ernie. She's the fastest milk float in the West.
Of course she is.
Yep.
It's like
Yep.
you must know Ernie a little bit. The
Yeah,
fast, yeah.
Yeah. She said she wanted pasteurized because pasteurized is best.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And I don't know about in America, but back in the day when milk got delivered, it was on electric milk carts, which did about 5 miles an hour. And so the joke has been that electric cars are essentially milk floats. So I called mine Ernie. Fastest milk float in the West.
See, the only Ernie we really have reference for is a Muppet on Sesame Street.
That's all right. I approve of that wholeheartedly.
Well, how
Consider
does your
you.
car look?
With its eyes, Ernie. I've seen that meme as well.
There's a spot in hell, and it's reserved for us.
Yeah.
And apparently, I'm already there.
Well, so you say, yes. Quite. Oh, dear me. The thing we had planned for yesterday didn't come off, unfortunately. My apologies to you and the other role players. It just
Oh,
didn't
don't worry.
happen.
I'm making something special for you guys now. I told a little bit about it a little bit.
Chili beef involved? One can hope.
No.
Oh no.
Pain.
Hmm?
Lots of pain.
Pain.
Boom.
Lots of pain.
Interesting. I like bread.
You know that whole twist in my Marvel game?
What, where you killed everybody off?
No, where I
Including
had
my
you working
entire
for the
staff.
bag.
Did you hear what he did? Did you?
Oh,
No.
that
Okay,
wasn't
no,
even the worst of
No,
it.
no. He
That's
turns
not the
around to
worst
me.
of
He
it.
says, I want backstory on your staff, please. And so I had to come up with my... I was nobility. I had to come up with the staff, the butler, the footman, the cook, the scullery maid, and I did all this. The very first thing he did was kill them all off.
It wasn't the very first thing. It was like the next session.
That's the first thing. That's the
Had
first
them for
time
an
they were
entire
there.
session.
They turned up purely to die.
Look, these things happen.
I want to go back. I want a
Maybe they were
chance to
in on
rescue
it
Ben
the whole
Grimm.
time. Like maybe it was an episode of Clue.
I want to go and rescue Ben Grimm.
No, Ben Grimm's in hell.
You can do something about that right now. You there?
I could go see Ben Grimm right outside,
Yeah. He's ever-loving blue-eyed self.
provided it's not the week he's in human form.
Ooh, chilly.
Yeah.
Very chilly. I love the fact they're sticking to that.
But no, that wasn't what I was referring to.
Oh, to what were you referring?
It was having the entire party work for the bad guys the entire time because you numbskulls never asked, any pertinent questions or picked up on anything.
We
I
killed the
was
good
saying-
guys who were trying to stop the bad guys because we thought they were the bad guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
It went wrong. And I had a problem with doors. Which I
It has
thought...
a large problem. Every role-playing group has a problem with doors. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I actually think, considering my character in Spelljammer, I'm actually thinking I can bring that back.
You would have to encounter a door first.
Space doors, aren't they?
Yes.
In space. Shh. It's the law, you have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I got the best compliment ever from Siobhan for that.
Yes.
You bastard. I had an evil gasm.
it was a fine twist. And I love it when a games master does things like that. I really do. It's a case of, yeah, you blindsided us. Hats off, applause. Salute.
Jess
Bastard.
was even pissed about it because she usually picks up on these things. And I'm just sitting there the entire time like, no, you kill him. I'm totally giving tells the entire game set.
We got no Retta again.
Well, she's probably busy.
We thought we got all bots. The bots are here. But apparently there's
good.
only one viewer, but there's lots of bots in the channel.
Well, that's usually me. So
Okay. So am I actually performing directly to you now?
yes, dance, dance, my puppet, dance. Playing with the
Oh,
marionette
someone is
string.
on form tonight. Oh.
I told you it's been a week.
Oh, man, I know people use this show as therapy, but it's...
See, that's the thing. I use this show as therapy, and I use the RPG to put you guys into therapy.
Fair?
Ah,
Fair.
I see.
It's a revolving door.
There's got to be a percentage to be made on all that.
Yeah. I my GM style is, how can I put this? I went to the Whedon and G.R.R. Martin School of Storytelling, where I drink deeply of the tears of all my players and everyone else.
Oh, good. That'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
We're only 3 sessions in.
Never go for the hurt kill when you can go for the hurt.
Next session should be next Saturday evening.
Yes, Saturday afternoon.
8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern, I believe. Am I right? Yep.
You are quite correct, madam.
So, yeah. No idea what's going to happen. We've arrived in front of this village of the doomed, or whatever it was. You're probably going to have to re-describe
Village
it.
of the lizard people.
That was the lizard people. That was it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Hex is going to be there.
Did he go on ahead?
Lizard people sounds like it could be easily destroyed by, I don't know, a battalion of outdoor cats.
Well, it's not the iguana people. You guys have the iguana people down there where you just shoot BBs into the trees and down fall the iguanas.
But you don't need to shoot them. If it gets cold enough, they freeze and fall out.
Okay. This gives me some stuff to bring up next Saturday as ideas for the group.
Sorry.
This is good. First thing, shall we go and get a load of cats? Secondly, have we got any CO2 to cool everything down? Because then
no,
it'll just fall out of the tree,
It's a tropical jungle. It's hot, it's sweaty, it's nasty.
Perfect. Well, for me anyway.
Sounds like Florida.
I was going to introduce you as Florida woman, and I thought, no, don't do that.
No. She's far too nice for Florida woman.
Yes, and far too sensible.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, has not thrown a live alligator at anyone in a drive-through window yet.
Her husband had to be stopped from punching an alligator.
He did. But there's no explanation.
No, there isn't, is there? It's just Dave.
There's nowhere to really go with that one.
Oh, bless you, you old fool. He's still making us laugh. Bless him.
He is.
So, any news? Picard's quite good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes,
right.
it is.
A little bit. I'm going to pile a little. Well, I'm going to ask you to take extra on your plate in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. An extra TV show. This is what's replacing Space Above and Beyond, because you've nearly finished, haven't you?
Yeah, we got like 2, 3 more, something like that. 2
It
more.
makes sense to wait on the review of that until Spanky's back, so you two can.
Yeah, we can wait.
Talk
I
it
would love
through.
to hear is how badly should Wes die?
Again. Yes, we need some sort of on-screen meter. The hatred
And then
Spanky
the
has for that
wrap up,
character.
Wes should die. How badly and how often?
Oh dear, clap now.
No, clapping brings them back. That's the wrong way.
So anyway, so do you want to hang on to Space Above and Beyond until next week when Spanky's, hopefully Spanky's back? It's a lot easier than having to do it solo, quite frankly, because we won't know what to ask, we won't know what points to make, or anything else like that. But once that's finished, I am going to ask a little bit to watch Edge of Darkness. I think it's either 50 minutes or an hour episode each week.
Okay.
With
Where is it?
that is being sorted.
Okay. Understood.
My chief scientist is looking into it right at this moment, possibly. Actually, what time is it? He might be in bed. Yes. Told Adam. I couldn't remember the exact date of your visit. Is it June the 10th?
That's Saturday, so that's the day we're doing the thing, hopefully at Goff Manor. Yes.
Right.
And so I'm coming in before then, and I'll be with Fedra, so I'll probably see you sometime during that, earlier that week, but definitely the 10th.
Okay. Well, like I say, just give us a yell if you need any transport. I'm there.
Thank you.
And it'll cost a lot less than someone with a petrol car. So.
True.
Plus, I'm proud of my little car. Sorry, I asked that because I was talking to Adam and we were brought up stuff.
Yes.
But It's a slow burner, but it goes in directions you will not expect. Like I say, that first episode, you think it's going to be something else. And it just very slowly changes. It's just little droplets of information.
Into what?
Into something a bit different. It is a tense thriller.
Tense thriller.
Thriller, yes.
Now, is this in the vein of tense thriller being like dark shadowy, or
No,
is
this,
it
as I said last week, is, in my view, possibly the best piece of British drama ever.
drama? Okay. So not like American Gothic or
No, it's a political thriller. It's straight.
oh.
However,
Okay.
the ending could have been a bit different. And
I thought we always just did, sci-fi horror shows.
there's a hint of the science fiction to this. And anyway, it's archive TV, because Callan's not sci-fi or horror, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Twist is it was the master all along.
See? Delgado yet again.
What a man. So, what's on tonight's show? She said 20 minutes in. We're going to look at the Green Death. That's a Doctor Who thing. We're going to look at the Big Finish box set, The Demon Song. We're not doing Space and Beyond. But we are... Oh, can I do Callan?
Yeah, we can't do Callan either.
Well, I can.
Well, yeah, but then we're back to one person doing the review.
But this means I'm not
Because God knows I'm not going to ask any questions about it.
I know. I'm so disappointed, because I'm sure if you'd given it a chance...
I couldn't get into it at all.
Basically, you got burnt with Life on Mars.
I didn't get burnt. I got incinerated
Oh,
with
sorry.
Life on Mars. I was a pile of ash until they poured more blood on me and I came back.
I was going to say,
dear.
when did a mysterious wind suddenly blow up? And
Exactly.
Or you'd been training some acolyte for hundreds of years to reinvigorate you like Dracula.
Exactly.
ah, dear. Yeah, that's a shame. So I can't really do Callan tonight either. Which is, like I say, is really going to annoy me, because I can't wait to see the next episode. I know Spanky's already ahead, but I have to watch them in the week where review them, otherwise I'll forget. Yeah.
You could watch this episode all over again for next week. That way you'll think it's, oh, I haven't viewed this one yet.
No, that's just it. I'll know I have it, because it's a rather... There are certain important points that need to be drawn from this for the whole overarching thing. And I've got a sneaky suspicion it's the last surviving episode of Season 3. I need to check my DVD box set. I think we jumped straight into Season 4. However, the shows they haven't got, where it finishes, is the perfect thing to start the Season 4 off with. So, just pure chance. Yeah. But, all right, I'll have to be next week as well.
We don't have much of a show now.
Well, no, we're gonna
So
have to
it'll be
fill
all
it in with
Doctor
the.
Who.
We're gonna have
Yeah.
to fill it in with the force of our personalities.
Oh, God, we're doomed.
Oh, I have. Have I mentioned to you that a certain someone? I've mentioned the fact we have the 3-hour phone calls and whatever.
Yes.
And I have mentioned the fact that I get the most evil of quizzes given to me each time.
Yes.
Okay. Well, himself went to Gallifrey 1. And he took them with him. Because
Quizzes?
his quizzes. I mean, have misery will travel. However, I think there's somebody better than me out there, thank God. I mean, I haven't been doing brilliantly. He thinks I've been doing brilliantly, but I don't feel like I have. You know, I'm lucky to have held on to what I'm doing. I mean, what's that? I did the Time Warrior last night. No, Time Monster last night. 84 questions. And I came in at 49. Correct. And a lot of these, there's no way in hell. It's stuff I wouldn't ever have known. It's not one of the points that's stuck in my head because, like I say, you don't sit down and study it. It's just you've seen it so many times, it gets in somehow anyway. You know. But what himself wants to do is Jess Jurovic, the remarkable pianist and man who's transcribed Dudley Simpson's incidental music for piano. He's got a wonderful YouTube channel. And he is apparently... your man thinks that he's got a eidetic memory. Because he was coming out with stuff. And like I say, himself wants, not as a show, but the three of us to meet up online and for him to host a quiz between me and Jess. And I said, I'm going to get completely creamed. You know, these things are reminding me how much I've forgotten. And it hurts
These
my
are the
head.
things to do at Gallifrey 1.
Apparently, a very good time was had by all.
I've seen the pictures, yeah.
I still think that Drashig and Vorg was superb.
That was great.
It was just remarkable. That's one of the... See, when I was a fan, we didn't used to cosplay because it was frowned upon. Because most cosplays either it had a cricket theme or an incorrect scarf. And people, and remember back then, there's Doctor Who, him. So, and like I say, since the new series, that viewpoint has completely changed because the geek have inherited the Earth.
Yes.
And now they're able to, well, it's never stopped in America, to be fair. You guys have always taken the lead on this. But over here, finally, and there's just the sheer amount of talent and imagination that goes into this. And
did you see
remarkable.
Dominic's Shooty Gatwa outfit?
Well, so did Shooty.
That was amazing.
Yeah, Shooty put it on his Instagram.
Yeah.
And to let people know that people were cosplaying as him already. And there was 3 of them. So, yeah, Shooty's aware of Dominic. Dominic did go up to somebody and call him the new boy for me.
Oh, excellent.
I was going to try and get as many people as possible to do it, and I thought, no, that might be a bit rude. So, I went that way instead. And, yeah. Look, we're going to go off topic all the time, but we might as well try and get somewhere. So, here we go. And now, from the worlds of BBC Television's Doctor Who, it's Doctor Who. Look, there they are. I say every week, I love that piece of music. Right. A third Doctor Who, possibly. We're not sure. Let's be perfectly honest. Chibnall! Finally gets to Metebelis 3, or as Microsoft spell checker used to have it, to Meatballs 3. It's not a very nice place. There's people hovering giant papier-mâché claws over him, and somebody else sort of, hello, Rosie. Hello, little pussycat. She's just behind you. Oh, didn't hear you again.
She's sleeping.
She's
Yes,
just
she is.
turned round and gone splonk.
Yes.
Where am I, lot? The Beans is in her bed. I should imagine 2 of them are on my bed. And Socks is a law unto himself, quite frankly. Anyway, meanwhile, the fledgling flies the coop. Joe's decided that an ecological protest in Wales is more important than going to Meatballs 3. And leaves the Doctor to do it himself. And it's almost in a fit of pique he does it. It's, I'm going to do it anyway. And of course it goes all horribly wrong for him. Giant papier-mâché claws, etc.
Giant snake.
Yes. And some stock footage. There was stock
Never
footage.
Never good
No.
when stock footage shows up.
Anyway, so Joe has gone down to Llanfairpwll. Excuse me. It's the Green Death, for heaven's sakes. Do I need to tell you the plot of the Green Death? No, of course I don't. Everybody loves the Green Death except me.
Now, why is that?
Well, I was going to say, do you two want to give your views on it, and then I'll come back?
Okay.
Because I have a feeling you'll probably be more positive than I will.
All right.
So, or I can go in between the two of you, so I have two little beacons of positivity, one either side. There'll be some positive stuff. Honest. You look pained. You sure? You sure?
Look, gassy.
Yeah, well, it's hell, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's just hell around me.
Go on then, bro. What do you make of the Green Death? You asked to do this one, so...
Yeah. I liked it. I liked the fact that Joe had character evolution.
Well, it's led on from what we've been watching.
Yeah, exactly. She goes from know nothing to, hey, I got this, to let's go fix this, to look, Doctor, I'm going off on my own to look at this. You do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of character evolution in it. Plus, she got kind of starry dreamy-eyed with the fungus guy.
Professor Jones.
Fungus doc.
All
Professor.
right, here we go. First of the facts everybody knows about this. That was played by the late Stuart Bevan, who was her boyfriend at the time.
Yeah, she was really starry-eyed. It showed.
Apparently, they stayed very good friends right up until the end,
That's good.
which is very sweet.
It was. This arc was more about Joe than the Doctor.
Yeah,
And you don't really see that in the earlier episodes.
fair. That is fair. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. She's almost the first companion to be given a proper send-off.
Yeah. And that's the thing, too. It makes me sad this was a send-off. Can you imagine if they kept this quality writing for her going forward as a character and just held the send-off for a while later?
Hang on, I'm imagining Series 11, but with Joe. See, something about Series 11 is off kilter. It could just be the fact that Katie's not there. Sorry, go on.
Exactly. Katie's not there. Apart from that, I thought that her fungus makeup on her hand and stuff in the previous arc, in the previous series, was much better than the green whatever the hell that was.
I think it was supposed to be a sort of green front axial projection.
Yeah.
I do actually know what
No.
I'm talking about. Or it could have been CSO'd, I'm not sure.
Something. I think it could have been just as easily, hey, look, we're going to put the paint on you, and then you lay down under normal lights, and we'll just shine a black light on you. Get that nice little phosphorescent glow.
Sort of that sort of front axial projection. Basically, you got painted with a material that technically shouldn't show up under the lights until a particular light was shone at you, and suddenly it would just go poof. It's called front axial
Okay.
projection. We've seen it in Doctor Who.
Okay.
Science! Possibly.
Sure.
Okay, carry on.
Apart from that, yeah, this was a great episode for everybody. Well, except the doctor, because he got terrorized by plants and tentacles and giant boa constrictors and rock walls and.
Well, it's a bit different. I mean, in his last story, they gave him every single mode of transport they could think of, just for this elongated chase, which was nonsense. But they gave him, let's treat him. This time round, let's treat him like shit. Let's just throw everything at him, and poor
You know what
Curtis.
this really, really shows? The number one rule of all time.
Oh, please.
Don't split the party.
Fellow's
goes off
bright
to-
green,
to the
apparently,
mine?
and dead.
Yeah. Who goes off to the mine? Brigadier and Katie. Who goes off on their own? The doctor. Who has a hell of a time? The doctor.
He's only got
Brigadier and
himself to
Katie are
blame.
just doing their thing.
He's only got himself to blame. However, this is the start of a story arc. I didn't know if you knew this, Brian.
I did not.
Ah. I'm trying to work out. Do you two, because Spanky's not here, do you two wish to keep doing Pertwees for a couple of weeks?
I'm okay with that.
Just
I
to do the
am
story arc.
ambivalent to your. I'm ambivalent. I'm good with everything.
All right. In that case, because I know you love your story arcs, Brian.
Oh yeah, I do.
So this particular story set something else up.
Okay.
Yes, it's all interconnected. I'm trying to think what else we should have watched before this. Technically, the Time Monster, but I wouldn't do that to you. All right. So I was going to
We might
suggest
have watched the Time Monster once upon a time.
it's anyway. Yeah. Frankly, avoid. There's some nice bits to it, but avoid. Green Death. I have this natural aversion to anything that's hyped or people say is brilliant and wonderful. I've still not seen James Cameron's Titanic, for example. It's a case of, oh God, if I'm a bit of a snob. If people are going nuts for it, there's a good chance I might not. Just out of snobbishness. There we go, that's an admittance. But there we go.
It's kind of like how I was into Jerry Springer, then everybody became into Jerry Springer, then I dropped it like it was hot.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
I was against Nick Pegg. Well, not me personally. Nick Pegg? What? Nick Pegg was against Pertwee until everybody else was against Pertwee, and then Nick Pegg dropped Pertwee, and the whole thing turned out to be a little experiment on his part. And it was right. He was right with it. At least I think so. My memory's hazy. We're talking 1991? Possibly? Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, but I remember watching this on transmission. Very young. And yes, I was scared because it was Doctor Who, so I was scared. It was the law. Didn't matter what was actually on the screen. If it was Doctor Who, you were scared. I think the next time I saw it was at someone's house in the 80s. We'd either come back from a rehearsal or there was a party after a rehearsal, and he chucked the Green Death on. And I suddenly realised, oh my God, this is crushingly boring. and I've never been able to watch it since. Well, I have, and I have done because I want to keep trying. I must like it.
You're programmed to like it.
Yeah, and not liking it makes me go wrong. So, yeah, I don't know. I find it slow. It's...
Question.
Yes.
The next one is the Time Warrior.
Yeah, that's not the next one we're doing.
No, thank God.
Oh, you're going to love the next one. You are going to love the next one.
Okay. Is it the demons?
No.
Damn.
No. Another classic that I'm not that impressed with.
Like demon. But
So I don't know why, I've just found it very dull. It's the fag end of the Pertwee era. Pertwee himself doesn't seem to have that much energy, which is going to be a problem the following year as well, quite frankly. He's quite perky in the Time Warrior, but after that his energy levels just slowly sink.
Well, that happens.
Well, yeah, it's understandable. Of course it is. Plus, Katie left, Roger Delgado died, Barry and Terrence are leaving. Everybody's vanishing. And here comes the new girl, Sarah Jane Smith. So, there's some lovely stuff in here, and the book is superb, to be fair. That was written by Malcolm Hulke as well. There is some good stuff in here. Pertwee dressing up and doing the world's worst Welsh milkman impression. And then a cleaning lady. Yes, quite. It's okay, but it does feel like it's just going through the motions now. We've been here, we've done this, we really need to be off. We should be off on Nerva Beacon.
Well, isn't that usually how it goes with the Doctor?
Not
When
necessarily.
it gets close to the time for a new Doctor, usually things start to drag, things start to draw.
The writers were more interested in the themes they wanted to get across about ecology and sending Katie off with a good story at the end than they are with the Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So the Doctor has a lot of back and forth and go do this and go figure that out and go talk to that guy. There's a lot of that sort of thing happening. It feels like the Doctor's like third on the list of things to pay attention to.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah.
By the way, have you been touching any maggots recently?
No, but I am green.
Green. He never said green. You watch it, he says green. He does. He doesn't soften the R sound. I never thought I'd say that. He doesn't soften the R sound. Carry on, Elizabeth, please.
This is sort of episode that could benefit, and I know they shortened some of them to 90 minutes and sort of showed them in an omnibus.
They did that with the Green Death.
And I think I've never seen that version, I don't think, but it's a sort of thing that I think it could have benefited from it. Because this is a 6-parter that probably should be a 4-parter.
Yeah. I agree with
I
that.
do like that Joe does have time, unlike poor Leela, that is in insta-love and then dispatched rapidly. She actually has time to get to know Jones. Has a similar vibe with him to the Doctor, and throughout they're comparing him to the Doctor. She says, he reminds me of a young you.
You notice her entrance, her introduction to Professor Jones mirrors the one from Terror of the Autons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a sort of the idea that what she's seen in the Doctor and admired in the Doctor, that she's also seeing and admiring in him. But the Doctor's never a choice as a romantic partner.
No.
And Jones is. And I think that's a nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from the very beginning, they establish that, oh, Joe is making decisions that are pulling her away. She's feeling more independent. She not only tells the doctor, you go do what you want, I'm doing this. This is more important. But she tells the brigadier,
Yes.
like, you want to arrest me? Go ahead. But unless you actually do that, I'm going to Wales.
Whereupon, typically,
And then you're
I'll give
coming
you a
with
lift.
me. It also gets him to drive her.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I do.
If
like
I'm
her.
going, you're going to have to arrest me. By the way, you're driving. What?
Speaking of the brigadier, he tries his typical bomb it from outer space techniques here,
Yeah.
and it does not work.
Never does.
Eventually, when they spread the bad stuff, but they're like, oh, we'll explode it. Oh, that worked. Never mind. Oh, well, we'll do this with the helicopter. Oh, never mind. Like, it's
It never works for Alistair. It just doesn't.
poor fellow. And I think he and the doctor have a very different relationship to this sort of thing than they did before, when he was like, I'm going to bomb the Silurians and I'm going to kill them. And the doctor does not seem to have, because these are maggots and they're not shown to be sentient or intelligent creatures, the argument isn't, oh no, we can't do that, that's genocide. The argument is, we can't do that, that isn't going to work.
That's fair. It never gets to the stage of the morality of it. Of the killing
Right.
of them. The morality.
Because they're
of that.
vermin.
They are vermin, yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Although
gotta come up with
Katie
another way.
does, Joe does object. I think it's Joe who objects. There's a moment where they're like, I need one to experiment on. And she says something like, oh, don't do that. And then eventually goes out to find him.
Yeah, and a fit of pique.
Yeah.
Because he was an arsehole to her.
And he was a jerk.
Yeah, so I think I was worried for her. It's a case of we're going to have to stage an intervention a couple of weeks down the line, preferably before you go up the Amazon.
Yes.
Apparently, no. They had tons of children and Christ knows how many grandchildren. So it all turned out nicely.
Yes. Well, I think she probably taught him a thing or two.
Did you enjoy the ending? Not the fact it
sad.
ended, but
Yeah,
The
it's
actual-
sad. I think it actually, with some modifications, that sort of scene would fit really nicely in Modern Who.
it's interesting you say that. Because in the episode of Sherlock where Watson marries,
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
whilst
Yeah.
the party's going on, Sherlock puts his coat on, gently
Wanders
walks.
off.
And it was a
Yeah.
deliberate homage to the Green Death. It's Mark Gatiss, what do you expect? So, yeah. I'm taking from that you sort of enjoyed it, middle of the road, or good, or...
I enjoyed it. I do think it's too long,
Yes,
but I think most of these six-parters are too long.
yes.
And I think that there may have been one too many villains.
There is a reason for that.
Because you've got Boss,
Yeah. Pretty
and
John
you've
Birth.
got the guy who's being run by Boss, whose name I can't remember. but
Jocelyn
the head of the
Stevens.
company. That's it, Stevens, the head of the company. And then you have a variety of suborned
There's a reason for that.
dudes.
Tony Adams, who was playing one of the guys, yeah, probably had a moustache, got, I think it was chicken pox or something. And they had to write in a different character.
Oh, yes. Peritonitis, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I think that was Roy Skelton. I can't remember.
Um,
But, yeah.
and you have that, and then you have the maggots, who are a menace but not a villain.
Fair.
But they're showing up coincidental. They're coming because they're attracted to what the bad guys are doing, and they're being changed by what the bad guys are doing. But they're not it's not deliberate.
No.
It's not like they didn't create
yeah.
them on purpose.
But when he finds out about them, I don't think Boss cares anyway. Quite
No.
frankly. Excellent
It's
guard
also-
dogs.
Yeah, but they're already crawling up the pipes and things. They're going to mess up his whole plan, which he doesn't think through.
Well, he's a computer.
That's true. He is a computer with Stevens'
Worse,
brain.
he's a
I don't think Stevens
1970s
was all that
computer.
bright in the first place. So
The next thing
I
I
mean-
say is a lie, but the last thing I said was the truth. Do you believe me? Something like that. Good old
yeah, it's something like that. And instead of going, whatever, that's not what we're discussing. We have things to talk about. It spends its time being
Yeah.
a computer.
It shows the limitations of the computerized mind.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
quite.
think really
Okay.
just Stevens was a really great example of the Peter principle.
Stevens. Sorry.
He was
Remember
promoted
Boss's
above his-
voice? You'll be hearing it in a couple of weeks. So, sorry about this. To finish off this story arc thing, which was not the plan, but appears to have happened, we've got 2 6-parters coming up in the next 2 weeks. Sorry
Okay.
about that. Next week, and Brian, I apologize in advance, okay?
Oh, Jesus.
The story is excellent. However, we're watching Invasion of the Dinosaurs.
Oh, okay, no problem.
I think it's sweet.
I like dinosaurs.
Bless
Okay,
you,
and
Brian. That's lovely. I'll remind you you said that.
That's the one that I should probably save this, but that I saw on PBS, and then kind of memory hold,
Yeah.
and forgot that it. I just had this vague like, did they do dinosaurs that one time?
I got a couple of programs like that. I keep thinking, did I actually see that, or am I going mad? You know?
To be fair, it might be a little bit of both.
Well, the one
That's
thing
true.
that really, the one program that really screwed me up, I found out I didn't imagine. So that's good.
Yeah, that is helpful.
I mean,
I
we're
have
talking
found
about
a
5
whole
or 6-year-olds. So.
Bunch of we used to have the Sunday night movie or something like that in America. I found a whole bunch of them from like the early 90s and stuff on YouTube.
How hallmarky is it?
Oh,
It's good.
they're not. No, they weren't Hallmarky. No, they were trashy.
They weren't Hallmark. They
They were
were
trashy.
they were bad.
Ah, cool.
But I have a whole playlist of these things.
I can believe that. I've always said there's something wrong with you. It's,
Yep.
Why is it
That's
my
why I'm
friends
on the
all
show.
like crap? That's
Yeah, I got things like Survival Island.
I don't know that one.
Nick Knight, the precursor to Forever Knight. Yeah. Deep cuts. Deep cuts. It hurts. I have the Disney Bigfoot TV movie.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Okay.
Which
Um,
came out. They had Harry and the Hendersons for a while too, didn't they?
yeah, but this
was
wasn't.
before that.
This was
sorry.
way
The
before
only
that.
Bigfoot I will accept is the one from the $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman.
I have those too.
It's the only one I'll accept.
I'm sorry. I have those 5. There were 5 episodes dealing with Bigfoot.
I still love the
$6
Death
million.
Probe. It don't know what it is. It's something about the noise of that thing. I mean, you watch it now and you think it's basically a car with some cardboard wrapped around it, bouncing around, whatever. And all he's doing is ducking and diving, and they're slowing it down to make it seem more.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
But it's just something about, I don't know, the noise of it, or the sheer scale of the threat, when normally it's normal bad guys, and suddenly he's got something that can really do him harm. I love those 4 Death Probe episodes.
Oh. Here's a good one. Something is out there.
don't know that one.
Don't know that one?
looking.
Miriam Diabo and some other.
Oh,
I would
good.
have
We're
missed
doing
all
well
of
here.
this.
It
I
was
would
a
have
two.
missed all of this because I was the oldest, so there were always little kids. So
Yeah, this was an 1988 movie.
yeah, no, I would have been too
Two-parter.
little for it. But ask me the Disney catalog from the 80s and 90s, and that I could tell you about.
Escape from Witch Mountain.
Those are great.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
when,
And Return
when
to Witch
Disney
Mountain.
went
I
dark,
remember them.
It
Yeah.
was
Those
good.
are great. Yeah. Yeah, those we regularly rented from Blockbuster.
Naughty Disney. Bambi goes crazy 8 bonkers with his drill and sex. Sorry, that's a British reference.
Godzilla versus Bambi.
Was that an actual thing? I wouldn't put it past somebody.
That
to
was
do
an
it.
actual thing.
Yeah. I thought
I
that was
can
it.
get you a link to it.
No, I'm fine. Thank you very much. I'd watch Kazuki versus Scrappy Doo, but only if there was
Oh,
blood.
I'd watch the hell out of that.
Only if there was actual blood from both participants, quite frankly. It's yeah, that's an important one. That one needs to be settled, I think.
Should any of our viewers wish to look it up, there is
Don't do
Bambi
this.
versus Godzilla.
Don't do this. People on YouTube, he's just put a link in Twitch chat, so you won't see this link. You can thank me afterwards. So,
It's a classic.
Oh, before we move on from the Green Death,
please, yes.
I have crocheted
Ooh.
a little thing for the classroom, but I thought it was very appropriate
I just
sort
looks
of thing
very
Joe might
Katie.
wear. Very furry.
It's very Katie.
It is very Katie, isn't
It is Katie.
But
Yeah.
it was very appropriate for this one.
No, totally approve. I've got a problem coming up. I'm guessing sometime this week.
Well, if you use the lotion like instructed.
I won't get the hose again.
Exactly.
The Lilibet, just there, has sent me. She's hunted down some American Girl Scouts. I don't know how many she had to kill to get these, but it's open
No.
season on Girl Scouts in America at the moment.
Oh no, I just needed my card.
They're making it very easy now. I like that. And she sent me a box of American Girl Scouts chocolate mint cookies.
Yes,
Thin Mint.
Thin Mints.
And I adore those. It's a shame it's only the one box, but fair dues.
Yeah,
Fair
yeah,
dues.
but it's only the one box because it cost me $27 to send to you.
I'm sending you some money then.
No,
I had no idea it was going to cost you that much.
No, that's just how much shipping costs. That's why it's
Yeah,
only the
shipping
one.
is insane.
So I was having this whole conversation in the post office because you got to fill out paperwork and all that kind of thing, right? For customs.
Yeah.
And the nice post office lady was like, make sure you're specific about it. I'm like, it's all right. It's a box of Girl Scout cookies. There's nothing else in there. And the lady behind in the line, because somebody else had walked in right next to me and taken, no joke, a traveling suitcase worth of packages that they had to send.
We get that at our local post office. It's people who's eBay, basically.
Yeah, it's that something like that. And so the queue went from like 3 people to, by the time I was done, about 26 people were in this line. So there's 2 ladies right behind me, heard me say Girl Scout cookies, and they're talking about them. And I said, yeah, it's the world's most expensive box. And I'm chatting, and she said, oh, yeah, they're that good. They are that good, but I don't know. We had this whole chat.
I can see why Monica in Friends had a problem with them.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They are very good.
So essentially, you are also doing me 2 favors. You're giving me a box, but just
Yes.
the one.
Just the one.
Just the one,
Yes.
which is
She's
how it
gonna
should be.
Scratching the bugs under her skin. In
But the
a
problem
matter
I've
of
got is, if it
minutes.
arrives before next Sunday, how the hell am I going to delay opening it until the show?
You're not.
Freezer. They come in 2 sleeves. Put a sleeve in the freezer.
The freezer? They're biscuits.
Yeah.
You don't put biscuits in a freezer.
Girl
You
Scout cookies
can.
freeze beautifully. I sold these things for 12 years. I know this stuff.
Christ, what's
they're
in
actually
them?
really good cold.
And then when you dip them in the milk, it's
Yeah, they're really good cold,
Oh.
actually. Legit, try it.
I'm actually thinking it now. The trouble is my
Uh-huh.
freezer doesn't work.
Oh, well, that's no
it's
good.
okay. Leave them in your apartment.
It's -1 tonight. I got a hole in the wall.
No, you don't. They fixed that. You only have a hole in the wall because you made it there.
It doesn't make any bloody difference whether the flap's down or not. It's still cold. But as of next year, things will be different. I will have heat. I will have hot water. It'll be nice.
Yes. We should do. You could hire one of the cats to cover up the hole. You know.
Well,
when it's
Trixie
cold.
keeps sticking her head out, and all I've got is her arse sticking in. And she just stays there, and I'm thinking, all right, that does the job.
Yeah, she's insulating.
So we are now an hour and 1 minute and 32 seconds into this transmission. I think that's long enough for him to have waited. Okay. A first Doctor Who. Remember, we come in 6-packs. This is the bendy one you can give to the dog. And his plucky girl assistant, Dodo. They're dodging the tube. Not paying for the ticket. And they're in Camden Town, in London. In the modern day, what we would call the modern day. And there is this tune in the air that it's almost everywhere. And I've forgotten the word I was going to use for that. It was going to be a good word as well.
Ubiquitous?
Yes, that was it. That was the word I was going to use. You see, I knew there was a reason we got you on this show. Are you chewing, boy?
Yes, and I'm petting a dog.
Are the two related for some reason?
I'm chewing, therefore the dog wants food.
Ah, yes, that's fair. Anyway, there's this tune which is ubiquitous. And I think,
Ubiquitous.
yes.
Yes.
Everybody seems to either be humming it or the buskers are playing it. And people are going missing. And it's down to, well, not just the Doctor and Dodo, but also a modern day YouTuber, blogger, paranormal supposed investigator who, to be fair, is a little bit full of himself. Conspiracy nut, basically. And
Was what he found next truly terrifying?
it turns.
Did you see it?
Okay, is
see
that
it?
a reference to anything in particular?
There's a YouTube channel called Nuke's Top 5
Right.
that does all the spooky and scary things, and people send them videos.
Yeah.
And it's subtle usually. You know, you'll see just like a little head pop out or something, and then it'll go, "Did you see it?"
Sounds like Joanna Lumley back when I had AOL. They got her to voice it. I've told you this before. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd suddenly have Joanna Lumley going, "You've got company." Jesus, it scares the life out of you.
I'm just
AOL. Dear, what did we do to deserve AOL?
a lot.
Correction. But related to that, you remember when you could set sounds and things as like your notifications, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And Dave had some sort of really heavy metal sting
Right. Yeah.
as his email notification.
Oh, dear.
And the first time I was over, he gets an email from my mother. And
Well then,
I see. So that's your view of the mother-in-law, is it?
she wasn't mother-in-law
done that in ages. I used to have the Flashing Blade theme on the phone, and also the radiophonic scream, but nothing.
Well, you've heard
I
my
never
text.
hear the
Anymore.
bloody thing when it goes off, no matter what I've got on there. So that's why I miss calls. Frankly, just can't hear the phone. Strange.
You've heard my text theme often enough in the show.
Yes, yeah, and I really would get that scene too if I were you. It can't be healthy.
Look, I'm just saying I have the emergency brake on, okay?
Right, okay. Break indeed. It's a relative dimensional stabilizer. Right, Lilibet,
Yes.
what did you make of the the demon song?
It's a really interesting concept.
I
The
thought so as
idea-
well. Yes.
Kind of following on from what I know they're unrelated, but following on from what we listened to previously, where
Well, the
things
red
traveled
was
on.
the concept. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here things are traveling through music.
Yep.
And the concept of the heavenly choir, if you will, versus the discord, which reminded me a little bit of what's that book?
Wouldn't be the all-consuming fire, would it?
It would not. It's a children's book. It will come to me. Anyway, Discord is a character in it. It's an allegorical. So it's a really interesting idea, and the idea that people are disappearing because they get entranced, and that the musicians are all sort of carrying the same tune. That the tune is almost
It's all pervasive, isn't it?
yeah, and almost that it's contagious.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it as well. Yes.
Very interesting ideas, and I really liked.
It's
the
basically
way,
taking the concept of the earworm.
yes, and I think they talk about
They
that, don't
mention that at the start.
and then
Yeah.
the doctor's like, oh, the thing that Burr was in, and no, it's metaphorical. It's a really good idea. I felt like there were parts that didn't quite work for me, and I'm not sure why. The song itself didn't quite work for me.
The
And I'm
actual
not sure
song,
why.
the tune of it.
Yeah, the tune.
Interesting.
I don't, and I'm not quite sure why that didn't work for me. Maybe it felt like it would be hard to hum.
I was thinking the same thing. I didn't have a problem with it, but I thought that's a tricky
No.
one to hum or get your head around quickly. to
Yeah,
start humming.
yeah, and it isn't something that would stick in my head. I think that's what it is.
I mean, Big Finish have done stuff that's stuck in my head still. I mean, the background to the Garazone market that they used to use back in the early days, that's still stuck up there. The incidental music to The Haunting of Thomas Brewster, that's still stuck up there because it's horribly irritatingly catchy and they overuse it.
And do you remember
Super Mario Brothers.
the Joe is making a thing one?
Oh, the Scorchies.
That one still is in there. And this one just didn't quite work. But that's not a problem with the storytelling. That's just, I don't know if that's a me as an audience thing.
Okay.
I really like Dodo.
She's got a lot more agency in this than she ever had on the TV show, or indeed the New Adventures. At least she's alive.
It helps.
She's been killed off twice, as far as I know.
Well, you can't keep a good Dodo down.
Well, I say that. She caught a terminal sexual disease in The Man in the Velvet Mask. And then in Who Killed Kennedy, she gets shot dead. So, cheerful.
Cheerful.
Yeah.
I think I really like that they almost immediately split them up.
Mhm.
And she is the character of strength with the imprisoned characters. And then essentially the Doctor gets a second and third companion while he's going around trying to figure out what's going on. And Dodo kind of plays the Doctor role with all the imprisoned people. When everybody's panicking and screaming and in pain, and she's in pain too, but you know, the angel demon character shows up every time and she demands answers. And won't take no, and won't just and she's the one it uses to communicate. I kind of picture almost a claw on the.
Or a hairdryer. Sorry, I'm thinking back to the word planet.
The concept of thinking characters are evil because they're doing harm, but the character isn't trying to do harm.
So shades of grey here.
Yeah, I wish we actually got a little more explanation toward the end when the portal opens up and then he comes in with the electric guitar and then you get the bad army.
Yeah. Well, it changes the frequencies as a result.
Yes.
It opens something else up instead.
Yes.
So-
You know, what the deeply conservative people have been screaming about death metal this whole time.
Christ knows what he was playing. I'm going to be honest with you, but that's not anything I've ever heard. Oh dear, somebody just headbutting their iPad.
I thought he was an interesting character.
Yes, so did I. Very interesting character, and the fact. Well, he redeems himself, sort of, but is he redeeming himself to do good or just to redeem his own name?
Reminded me a little bit of. I'm really, really terrible with names. In the Ninth Doctor episode where they go up in the satellite and you have the guy who gets all the stuff in his head and
Adam.
he has all the knowledge. That's him. Adam. It sort of felt like elements of that. Like he's the kind of character that if the Doctor asked him to join, he'd 100% be on board because he would want to. But he's the wrong sort of person to travel with the Doctor because he would make it all about himself all the time.
Good way of putting it. I like that. It would have been interesting to see maybe at least one more story with Adam between him joining and leaving, just to see how he copes in an ordinary situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, the companion who failed. It's. Did you enjoy this?
Did. I think it misled me a little bit. I thought it was going to be a bit like the Christmas one with the Ninth Doctor where they come in through the Welsh girl.
Oh, sorry, the Unquiet Dead.
Yes, that's terrible with names. No head for
all right.
names. It felt a bit like it was going to be that, like they were going to say they were good and then they weren't good. When the portal opens up and they go,
Yeah.
angels, thousands of them. You know.
Rorke's
Never
Drift,
trust an angel.
Wales. Sorry, Rorke's Drift, Camden.
I thought, oh no, they're going to come through and they're going to turn out to be bad. And that isn't where it went.
No, and we're all right with spoilers. We've got a week grace now, so no, they don't turn out to be bad after all, which is a nice change.
Yes.
To be honest, it turns that trope, if you like, on its head.
Yes.
It's good stuff. What about the Incherton incident? Do you want me to give a brief?
Yeah, tell me what you thought.
This
Or
is
do you want to do an
interesting.
overview first?
I'll do an overview first. One of the first Doctor Who's. Others are available. Hi, Nick. And his plucky girl assistant, Dodo Chaplet. Well, they've landed, and it's Britain, and it's a couple of years after the Second World War's ended. Rationing is still a thing. A lot of people are still in uniform, though there's been a lot of demobbing. And that sort of mentality is still ingrained in the British society. The wartime mentality. There is something in a quarry.
Because of course there is.
Of course there is. And The army have been sent down to investigate it along with the scientific team. Something happens. The army lose contact with the scientific team, but then suddenly the woman from the ministry turns up, ordering all around. But there's something a bit iffy about this woman. And this woman, it turns out, knows the Doctor. Just not this one. She knows his history from the future. The Doctor's personal future, that is, relative time. And so I'm looking at Brian, hoping to see some spark of life and understanding. I'm doing a very bad job at this. Either that or he's turned off. I'm not sure. Are you turned off? Ladies and gentlemen, proof that Brian does not have a ball patch, or you can't see the join.
Nope, it's all mine.
All right. Good glue, that. Gorilla glue. This has the feel of Quatermass, and it's a deliberate thing, I think. There's too much for it not to feel like Quatermass, to not have been intentional. The plot's interesting. I have a problem with Virginia, the CIA agent. Veronica.
She'd be. Yeah.
I was not at all impressed with the way the character was played. It didn't feel like good acting. It felt like Amdram. And I don't often say...
Where in America is she meant to be from?
I'm not sure.
Because sometimes she sort of had a southern thing going on, and with the name Virginia, that would make sense. But it was really an occasional pronunciation thing, not an actual characterization.
So it was an American accent done by someone who's never heard an American accent.
No, it's an American accent done by someone who watches a certain amount of American TV without understanding that an awful lot of Americans are played by Canadians in TV.
It'd be interesting to see if the young lady in question who played the character is American.
I don't know.
No.
But
I don't know either.
It is a very broad...
I thought it was...
accent.
I just thought... Again, we're talking cliche. It's the femme fatale. And I'm afraid the way she delivered her lines just did not seem realistic.
Sometimes it felt like she was a bit of a gun shooter, like old man, old timer, that kind of thing. And then other times she was sort of meant to be Southern. And other times, and it didn't feel like, the early line where she claims to be Canadian, I actually enjoyed. Because then she slowly reveals that, no, she's American. And so that was, that was good. And relating to the war and all that stuff.
She's got a gun. Of course she's American.
Of course she's got a gun. But it does, I don't know. It didn't quite work.
No.
And so much about this story is trying to explore, as you said, the elements, the feelings, the culture of a post-war Britain that isn't really post-war yet.
That's a good way of putting that. Yes, I like that. The trouble is, because the village or town in question has been utterly destroyed, we don't get any of the everyday stuff. It's just your soldiers, your national service lads, and that's it. And some scientists, and the woman from the ministry. This is a regular occurrence. Oh, no, it is now. According to this, it's connected. And it's streaming.
Okay, yep, we're back.
Sorry about that, folks. It's my internet connection. Long-term viewers will know the thing. Like I said, I had a problem. I thought Frank Skinner's character was a bit surplus to requirements. In this, I think they could have done with a little bit more local colour. just to sell the post-war feel just that bit more. That's all I thought. I thought it was, yep, that's great. We've got the soldiers, but we've got no... There's no human connection there. Does that? Am I talking sense a little bit?
Yeah, you get an element of it. I think all of it actually is filtered through, as you said, the soldiers' perspectives, and so the excuse they give for this, the military excuse for what's happened to the town, is that it was a German bomb that was dropped with a long fuse, and the fuse has finally just gone off.
Yeah.
And that is actually a really good metaphor for PTSD.
Yes, which I think it's very fair to say the commander of the troop station there is suffering from. And certain things that the bad guy does to him exacerbates that.
Yes.
I think.
Yes. And I think the scene, and this ties into what you're saying about the townspeople, they've evacuated the people who have survived, but something like 150 people were killed, and they've got a makeshift graveyard. And the captain stops and shows Dodo this graveyard for no reason that he can explain to himself.
Yes.
And it is very clear that the site is affecting him, and that the site is reminding him of a battle yard grave. And how, that's all of that happened, and there was all of that sacrifice. And here it is happening again. And then when he's talking to the woman from the ministry, and she's like, it's got to be done. It's your duty. This is war, man. And Dodo reminds him, it's not, though. It's not war anymore. And if you do that for no reason, then what were you fighting for in the first place? And Dodo acts a little bit like the voice of his conscience when his own one has been suborned. I thought that stuff was really good. It felt a bit like a First Doctor story in that there's an awful lot of running around to different places. And go here, learn this piece of information, then journey to the next thing and learn that piece of information. Then we go back to the other place.
It would have stretched line growth.
There's a lot of that. So, and I it's probably deliberate. It's to make it feel like a story of the era.
Okay. Now we're going to get to the bit an hour and 23 minutes and 44 seconds in, where we're going to discuss the lead performances. Both actors are, the original actors have died, Jackie Lane and Bill Hartnell. And so Big Finish have done the replacement. First of all, let's talk about, and extend the torture even more, let's talk about Dodo. How do you think she was played compared to what we saw on the telly? If you've seen any Dodo on telly.
I don't think I've seen any Dodo on telly.
We shall have to fix this. You're going to like this. I'm going to introduce you to the joys of the security kitchen. Brian, you're twitching. I think you remember.
I'm fine. Fine.
I've seen very little original Hartnell because I don't think it was shown on PBS. So I've seen the odd, I've seen the beginning, and I've seen the end, and I've seen the odd episode, odd story here and there.
I'm trying so hard to be kind. Brian knows what's coming.
You have to take that up with PBS. I'm just saying.
Brian knows what's coming. Unworthy of the Diamond logo, a little bit. I'm sorry. Unworthy of the Diamond logo.
Yay! One of us! One of us! Of us!
Oh, well.
Oh, dear me.
At least she didn't pull up the graphic.
Yeah, no, I haven't, but I couldn't be asked, quite frankly.
Meanwhile, this arrived this week.
Squirrel. Ooh, complete season 2, my arse. That's the complete season 8.
Very pretty. So
very good as well.
Yes, I will enjoy that. So anyway, I don't know Dodo from the show. So this is my exposure to that character.
Okay, that's
And I
interesting. That's very interesting.
Quite like her. She's
Yeah.
I don't like the word feisty because it's only ever applied to women
And children.
and children. Yes. It's never applied to male characters.
It's almost patronising. Oh, look at her pluck.
She's brave.
Is that why
She's
you call
determined.
us the plucky girl assistants?
Oh, no, there's a very good reason for that. It's either that or introduce you as people I once met.
Well, we haven't.
I didn't say I always told the truth. To be fair.
Rule number 1:
Actually, though.
the Siobhan lies.
To be fair, we do tell the truth on this show. I made it a point.
Rule number 2: see rule number 1.
No, I've always said it. Our integrity matters. We have to say what we think, because if we don't, how will people know when we truly appreciate something? It's yes, I quite like her. She's a bit different to the Dodo of the TV series. She's a more modern iteration, if you like, even though it's the same character. She's got more gumption to her than the Dodo who was a 1960s girl companion really had. So with Big Finish, like they've done with so many other characters, they've managed to flesh them out and, make them proper three-dimensional characters.
I do think that there is a difference between what would the character have been and how would the character have been written by the writers who were writing young women in the 1960s.
Exactly.
I do think there's a difference there, and I think
agree.
that's the difference we see.
Basically, they're bringing the character kicking and streaming into the 21st century. That's, but still trying to keep that 60s vibe. Okay, we're about 1 hour, 28 minutes and 10 seconds in. We got to ask the question, what did you make of the new boy?
I think he did pretty well. I do. I think he did pretty well. I think that he and Dodo work really well together. Mm-hmm. There's a great dynamic there. She doesn't let him get too patronizing, and he doesn't let her get too much into serious danger if he can stop it. Mm-hmm. So there's sort of an element of a mentorship or a teacher-pupil sort of relationship there.
Okay.
It reminded me a bit of the Doctor and Bill.
That's interesting.
Like, I want you to explore. I want you to go out there. I want you to be curious and find things out because we're not in your time. But I don't actually want you to get hurt.
Mm. A bit like Thin Ice.
Yeah.
Where the Doctor takes Bill back to the frozen Thames.
Yeah, go out and explore and find out. And that little speech in the Interton incident that they give the Doctor is really quite good. It kind of sums up his view of the universe as far as he wants to share it. I think there was, maybe because it's audio, maybe because I listened to it in a chunk, it felt like a certain amount of repetition of the idiosyncratic noises.
Interesting.
You know, the harumph, that kind of thing. I think if they were spread out, if I listened to an... Yes.
I would like to point out that as you've not seen much Bill Hartnell...
That's true.
You can't judge against the original.
No, I can't. I can judge against what I've seen, but I can't judge against a chunk.
Bill was, by that time, was chucking in more and more hms and ahs and whatever.
And I did notice the certain amount of deliberate bluffery.
Yes. There's also a word in this particular story. Is it this one or is it the Demon Song? Can't remember. But it's actually a word by me. I changed the word universe to universes. Look at me. I helped. So,
Spoon.
thank you. The new boy, I stood up for him a bit last time round because he bloody deserved it. This time round, he's improving. His Hartnell's starting to work. It's all down to my influence, of course. He can't take any credit. I did notice a difference between this performance and The Outlaws. I know how much work he puts into these scripts. Each of those little bits of colour are painstakingly put in, trying to find just the right place to put them. It's not... I'm more instinctive when I do it. I use that as a way of touchstoning the whole thing. They're good touchstones to use to spring off onto something else. Whereas they're planning each one meticulously. His quieter Hartnell has definitely improved. And I won't say that. He'll now say to me, "What were you going to say?" Like I say, we've been discussing this for months now. And it's fascinating seeing where he's taken it through those months. Because he hasn't rested on his laurels. It's in case I'm just going to sit there and wait for a script to come in. Apart from anything else, he's a massive Doctor Who fan. This is the man with the evil quizzes. He's always thinking about it. He appreciates the import of the role. And as a result, he's not taking anything for granted or trying to do anything, just, well, we'll hit and hope. Everything has got to be correct. And it even still gets changed a little bit in the studio as well, depending how it actually plays out. Yes, definite improvement. I don't mean that patronisingly at all. I was quite happy about that, and I enjoyed both plays, I have to admit. Very much so. The biggest compliment I can give him, because he'll admit he doesn't sound 100% like Bill Hartnell. I don't sound 100% like Bill Hartnell. There's a reason for this. Bill Hartnell is dead. You're not going to... But you can't leave the characters to gather dust. They're marvellous characters that they spent all that time and effort creating. You can't just leave them now to gather dust. Would you have left Sherlock Holmes to gather dust? It's... So, the biggest compliment I can give is there were moments during this when I prep my Hartnell, I do it very visually. I have to see Bill in the scene. I have to picture it, to see what facial expressions he's pulling, to see how he's moving. And that then informs the voice. What mood he's in, that sort of thing. So I see it very visually. And whilst I was listening to these, I was having moments when I was seeing Bill doing things. Now, either it's me getting incredibly frustrated because I want to do these lines and see what I can make of them, and that is a problem I have, or it's one hell of a compliment. If he's convincing me that, if I'm seeing Bill when he's saying stuff, there's got to be something. He's got the personality down spot on. He really, really has. But he had that from the very start. That's what people didn't realise. yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to go because he's not resting on his laurels. I think he's in for the long run. I'm going to be honest with you. I think he's going to be very successful. Just don't tell him I said that. Don't. He'll be
This
watching
collection
this.
ends on a cliffhanger,
Yes,
so there's obviously more to come.
there is. For a start, I believe the First Doctor, his First Doctor, other First Doctors are available, Briggs, is part of the 60th anniversary Big Finish celebrations called Once and Future. And so, I don't know, there's a chance that the cliffhanger might lead into that. Or it might lead into something else. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, good box set. Really enjoyed it. It felt like a proper bill. Yeah, if that makes sense.
And having the proper music at the beginning does help.
Oh God, doesn't it just?
It does put you, okay, this is where we are.
Notice that Briggs did. I think it was Briggsy. Did the music for the Inchiton incident? Notice, by the way, also that they resisted the urge to have the Doctor fluff up Inchiton. I could have easily become Chesterton or Chatterton, not once. And I thought that was a lovely choice. I really did. You've got that with the whole Veronica Virginia thing. So you don't need to double down on it. Shit, why was I saying
Well,
that?
and although he grudgingly builds respect for her by the end, well, by the sort of middle when they briefly become partners in crime. At the beginning, he's very against her and everything she stands for. And so not bothering to get her name correct does make sense.
But he's known, but at the very end, he very pointedly calls her Veronica. Sorry, Virginia,
Yes.
her actual name.
Yes.
So he's known all along. It's
Yes. Yeah, he just can't be bothered.
he's a git.
I
I was going to
do
mention the
wish-
music.
Yeah, go ahead.
Briggsy's done his best radiophonics at times. At times it's misplaced, but it is very atmospheric, and I do love that sort of background. The Forbidden Planet style electronics. Or radiophonics, I'd take your pick. Sometimes I think that works better than actual music. I point, for the perfect example, to the Daleks. Tristan Carey's score for that. It's ambient. There's no real tunes to it at all. It's just atmosphere. And that's, I think, is what Briggs was going for with this, and I think he succeeded. Possibly overdid it a little bit in places, but I think he really did succeed on that. Sorry, go on.
I kind of wish that all of the human characters except Dodo didn't walk off into the sunset at the end.
It was
Because
a bit, wasn't it? It was
we end
almost Deus Ex Machina. You know, I'll take you to the TARDIS because I know there's a load of spare energy in the TARDIS that'll get rid of you, and I've already set the ship to detonate.
Yes. Well, the extra stuff in the TARDIS, I'll buy that because really that's Chekhov's TARDIS.
It is. Yes, I
It
thought
was set up
exactly
in the
same
beginning.
thing.
It's paying off at the end. It's okay. But, and I do understand why, because the Doctor is vaguely annoyed at all the nonsense, you know, I'm Russian, I'm American, I'm British, none of us can cooperate because we don't trust each other except we're supposed to be allies. And it's full of
Yeah.
stupid nonsense. And the Doctor basically says, look, all of you go. Figure it out.
Yeah,
I don't have time for you.
yeah, quite right.
And I appreciate the attitude because it is stupid nonsense.
Yes.
But I do wish, because the ending becomes two aliens and Dodo. And you've
We've
got
never
to
been
fake out.
100% certain about Dodo. But carry on.
Well, you've got to fake out leaving with
Yeah.
her. But it basically boils down to two aliens talking with no human character for me to relate to the scene with.
It's also the fact, I mean, I'm guessing that this character is going to return at some stage with with a doctor of some kind, because she knows him from his future. So for her, this will be the last time she meets him. But for him,
She knows him, though. I think she knows of him. I think
well, that's right. She was fanatic, weren't they? They were after him.
Yeah, they were after him, but they
Is the
know
Ecology
him. They-
Bureau
they're-
or
yeah,
something?
whatever
Yeah.
they are. I tried to work it out. It's not a good acronym.
Galaxy or Ecology
Yeah, something.
Association,
Defenders,
GUA.
whatever.
So, yeah.
And for somebody who's like, yay, ecology, she does an awful lot of ecological damage.
She does, rather, doesn't she? The scene in the mines where, in the mine, the quarry, where they set off a load of explosions, I can picture that inside a studio, which is a bit of light flashing and the sound effect. Because there's no way in hell they'd have been able to afford that. Maybe a quick model shot of something falling over and a bit of flame? We don't know. But, I mean, it was very economically done, I thought. I really enjoyed this box set. There's a lot of hope for the future with it. And don't forget, Nick, I'm here. He's really rocking it now. He really is. And it's great to see. And he's enjoying it. And
I did get the sense they were both very much enjoying it.
yeah. Like I say, it's those 2 days in studio are the culmination of 2-3 months, maybe more, of intensive work on the script to get the Doctor's lines spot on. What was it? Oh, yes. I saw a complaint somewhere on Facebook or something saying that the Doctor says too many quite so's during it. They actually cut Christ knows how many quite so's from the script. So, I've spoken to Stephen Noonan, and we've agreed if you would like a quite so that was dropped from the script for The Interesting Incident and The Demon Song, please get in touch with us on the back of Packet of Character Options Daleks, and we will send you a quite so from that script.
Wait, this is a deleted quite so?
They weren't even recorded.
Oh,
That's
those
their
are
rarity.
collector items.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there you go,
Vintage
boys and
box.
girls. It'll just cost you a couple of packs of Daleks. Sinister started off with this currency thing. It's a currency I'm more than happy to keep going. I mean, I would do Transformers, Brian, but
I've got them all.
yeah, frankly. Yeah, I'm quite pleased about
I've
that.
got all the ones I want. I have one more coming in that I need.
It's all right. I've been thinking about the future. I've discussed this with you before. Oh no, I'll tell you about it afterwards. But yeah, that's not bad. We're down one presenter, and we're 1 hour 45. Once again, it sort of balances out, and that's without doing Callan or Space Colon.
It figures out to be about 30 minutes per presenter.
Yeah, and so that seems to work. What are you doing next week, Brian?
Working.
That's nice, dear.
Yeah, working, and
You're always doing that. I mean, that's
I'm
commitment.
always working.
I like that.
no, I don't.
Every week
I-
he says, I'm working, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, wow, that's amazing. So many people would just say, sod this, and put their feet up in front of the telly. But not Brian. No, he's
No,
committed.
I'm committed to having a roof over my head and food in my belly.
Should be committed. Quite right.
I should be committed 3 times over.
Yes, very much so.
But I'm planning for the RPG on Saturday.
I'm looking forward to that. That's on Thaco Gaming.
That's on Thaco Gaming, 3 p.m.
8 p.m.
Yes,
Here
Eastern
at the
time,
home of
and
time.
8 p.m. UK time.
The home of time. Just say it. I don't make the
I'm-
rules.
I'm just saying I know
Where's
the
the
rules.
meridian line? Oh, it's Greenwich. Who drew it? We did. So there we go.
Well, yes. There you go.
Home of time. I will never, ever get away with that one. No.
Yeah. What are you two doing?
I was about to say, a little bit. What you got planned? I loved seeing
Work?
that. I have to admit, I didn't watch all of it, but it was interesting to see how you well, not so much interact per se with your class, but how you teach.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
That
I
was
put
fa-
up
that
a video on Facebook. I recorded a whole bunch of video lessons on YouTube back during when I was teaching from home for COVID. And I've come back around to that lesson. So I was teaching John Dunn's.
We noticed you've been saying
validation.
hello like this. Adam and I were discussing
Yes.
this for a long
Yes.
time.
For a very long time.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
The Zoidberg hello.
Yeah. Well, and I deliberately, when I picked the screenshots to be the front of the videos,
Oh, yeah.
I deliberately picked ones that I'm doing weird stuff in.
You need to wear a bow tie.
I did a whole bunch of Beowulf ones.
Oh, aye.
Because Beowulf's fantastic.
Spanky will go for that, I think.
And there's a whole bunch of me going like, ah!
As long as it's not the
I
Christopher
wish I had a
Lambert
t-shirt.
Beowulf.
Like a t-shirt.
Oh, it's yeah. I don't show them that. But I put that up because I really love teaching, and I really like teaching John Donne's poetry because the kids walk in and the first time on a cold read, it's baffling. They just sit there and I go,
Chaucer.
okay, well, yeah, Chaucer's a good, yeah, and they go, I don't know, he's a guy, I guess, like, and then I say, okay, we're gonna break this down, and in 20 minutes you're gonna understand this poem, and in 20 minutes they understand the poem.
Job done.
So, yeah, in the videos it's just me teaching. There's no students in it, so I
Yeah.
can make it public.
But it's no, it's nice to see because I've got a few friends who are teachers or retired teachers, and it's actually very interesting to get to know them because it really is when they call teaching a vocational work. It really is. It is something very close to all their hearts, and they go through shit, but they still keep going. I mean, the problems with teachers and COVID over here, you don't want to know. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been bad. I've got a friend who's, I think she's had COVID 4 times so far. It's, and that's because parents aren't bothering to test their kids. Even if they're positive, they're sending them to school because it's easier to get rid of the kids than it is to have to look after them.
Well, and there's also a lot going on with families and parents where sometimes they can't keep them home. And so it's, yeah.
In
it's-
some situations, but most of these, it was the parents couldn't be bothered.
it's very, very challenging. Teaching is also hugely performance.
Chestnut. Sorry. Cat.
Claws?
Claws. On leg.
Oh.
I don't have a pair of leggings that hasn't got loads of holes in. I look like a thal.
No, you don't.
Yes, I did. I'm blonde. My leggings have got holes in them. I'm a thal.
You're not blonde enough.
Used to be.
They were radioactive blonde. We've seen the picture.
It's me.
It's amazing you didn't burn up in the sun.
Ah, you say that. I have a huge scar on my back. And my mother said it was because I'd been left out. My father had left me out in the sun too long. I've got no memory of it happening. I just think it's circular. And I think it was almost directed rather than
Like somebody took a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
And
I think I must still have the scar on my back. It's one of those lifelong things. But every time we go swimming or something like that at school, it was a case of, you got a bruise on your back. No, it's my scar. So that was fun. Can't remember why we started talking about this. Blonde, foul, cat.
Cats. Yeah.
Right. Okay,
It's always
that's good.
cat.
So next week, Doctor Who and the Invasion of the Dinosaurs. Again, another good Target book. Yes, the big finish will be the new 11th Doctor box set with Jacob Dudman. And I'll sort that out in a sec. And then the episodes of Space Colon and Callan that we were supposed to do this week and didn't do. So I won't remember at all. I have no memory. I've got to check to make sure this is the last one of season 4. Season 3, oh Jesus. So that's going to be fun. Yeah, so that was the show.
Mm.
We did a show. Look at that.
Think we should take an awkward pause?
I feel an awkward pause is called for.
Yes.
It's your own time you're wasting.
See? Teacher. Our old physics teacher, Mr. Tebbo, had a slightly high, slightly camp voice. Now, I didn't like the man. The very fact he lived opposite me where we lived did not help at all. The fact that I was a damaged child did not help at all. Tebbo had a way of standing at the front of the class going, I'm waiting! I'm waiting! There is a scene in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy where they land on Magrathea and Zaphod has switched in Eddie the computer's backup personality, which is a school marmish thing.
Yes.
And someone, I've no idea who, may have got a clip of that, and at
I
just
can wait
the right
all day if necessary.
and may have played. I lost my tape recorder. It got confiscated. It was worth it. That's all I'm saying. It was worth it.
I had a 4th grade teacher who went, when the lights are off, that means silence. Still in my head to this day.
Shut up! I give you the detention. My friend Simon Dudkins would know what that was. Who that was. Oh, funny how you remember certain teachers. I mean, I can remember practically all my teachers, and most of them are either incredibly dull, but there was the one or two who really shone and inspired you. You remember forever. You
Yeah.
really do.
Yep.
And we had one or two like that. I was lucky. The rest of them were just...
Teaching has come a
Marking
really
time.
long way, and Dave would tell me stories about things that his teachers did and said and how they conducted
But
their
that's
classes,
South
and-
London. It's
Well,
a law
that's
unto
true.
itself.
That's true. And he did go to the school where they, had a record for caning children or whatever.
Oh, I got the
Ridiculous
strap.
nonsense.
You nearly broke that thing. I got it so much.
It's ridiculous. I don't have discipline problems in my class because I eliminate the problems before they happen.
I
So I just
think
said-
part of the
I
reason
just set up a situation that it doesn't happen.
it
and then it
seems
doesn't happen.
that you show them respect first,
Yeah, because
and
respect
therefore
isn't
you
earned.
get it back.
Yeah, respect isn't earned. You get respect because you're a human being on this planet. That's
Exactly.
why you get respect.
I got that just from watching that thing. It's a case of, you're not trying to...
And if you
And you're
don't
not basically passing the time of day doing this. You're actively invested in what
It's
you're
theater.
talking about.
It's very much theater. We have a young teacher who has a theater background, and he's very, very good. He's only in his second year of profession. He's very, very good. But one day we were just all just exhausted. It was just one of those days where everybody was tired. And I said, teaching on a Wednesday is like the second Sunday matinee. You don't have anything left. There's nothing left in the tank, but you have to go on anyway. So you go and you find energy from somewhere, and you get in front of your audience, and you kind of try and channel the energy from your audience, and you put it out into the teaching. It is improv. I do 4 shows a day of improv, basically, with a slightly pre-planned script, which is the lesson plan, and adapting to the audience as you go and the audience's needs, because sometimes...
You're a games master.
Yes, kind of.
Essentially?
Kind of. There's elements of performance. There's huge elements of performance. There's elements of organization.
Talking of performances, I finally found Victor on Critical Role.
Oh.
Yes!
Victor is good.
Sorry,
Victor
Lola.
is good.
That's okay. It's something that I've learned and grown into. And the days where it goes well, it goes really, really well. And the days where it goes poorly, it can sometimes go spectacularly poorly.
Hello, Retta! Retta's
Kinda
here.
like-
Hey, Retta!
Hi, Retta. Kind of like herding cats.
Yeah, very like herding cats. And sometimes they wander off. I had a group go to the library, and then the librarian emailed me and said, okay, I'm sending them back. They're on their way back to class. And then they never came back to class. So they had their consequence. But yeah, sometimes it is like herding cats, and they just don't go where they're meant to go.
Trust me, I know exactly what herding cats is like.
Oh, that would have worked so well if only I was in the correct position.
I don't know. I don't look at this stuff.
Like I say, my picture on my screen is flipped. So
Yeah.
that's why I keep looking off the side of the screen. I'm actually looking at the monitor where they are. It's because I used to have a little telly repeater thing on Streamlabs, and I could look at your faces on that and be almost looking at the webcam. But that's vanished. I don't know how to get it back. What's my week got coming up? Nothing.
No more gates. No more sagas.
Like I say, they came round, they finished that off. I'm probably going to have the bloke come out to have a look at it again, because he was the one who made them come back, which I kept telling him, it wasn't me, I didn't complain. Yeah, I think that's it, though. Oh, that's not too bad. I can live with that.
Yeah, you'll have time to do your homework.
Yeah.
Actually, I probably will watch Invasion of the Dinosaurs again, because despite the obvious, it's actually quite good. And like I say, I have very fond memories of the novel. So that could be interesting. Oh, by the way, if any of you are looking for some of the original targets, I do have them on Moby and EPUB and whatever. All the old
I have
Target
most of
books.
Yeah, I think I have most of them. When I first moved up here, and
I
I
should
went
imagine
to
himself
the-
had them.
Yes, I think he did too.
Yeah.
I moved up here and went to our local library, and I don't know who buys for our library, but they definitely like British telly and science fiction, because they had a whole rotating stack. So this was like 2003, 2004, when I moved up to go to college.
Interesting.
No, earlier than that. It would have been 99.
Interesting.
when I
Theme
moved up.
park years.
Nice.
Sorry, the sandbox years.
Whole rack of Doctor Who Target books, and they had at that point, I think some of them were still VHS. and DVDs. They had the War Games. I think that was the first time I saw.
Well,
the
like
War
I say,
Games.
that
the whole
was
thing.
going to be for next week, but I wasn't going to insist we did all of it. I was going to say we'll do the first 5 episodes, then the second 5 episodes, because I do appreciate your work. That's why I'm a little bit wary of asking you to do Edge of Darkness as well. If you want to drop out of either Big Finish or the Doctor Who, so you've got time to do Edge of Darkness, because I think you'll find a lot from it. Do what you can, what you think you want to. All right, it doesn't matter. I say that to everybody. If you can't do something, you can't do it. Real life comes first.
Real life tends to
And if it
insist
stops
on
being
things.
fun, what's the point?
Yeah, yes.
I
That's
mean,
true.
I think that's the reason Joe really left. It was starting to feel like work, having to do homework every week. I'm just lucky in this particular instance that some of the stuff, well, for a start, we're not all covering the same things.
Mm-hmm.
So we're able to have a bit of a break a little bit. And as a result, it's not quite such a heavy workload. I mean, Brian... Sorry, go on.
I think I enjoyed bitching about Life on Mars more
do
than
Ashes for
watching the
Ashes.
show.
We can still do Ashes for Ashes, and there's the possibility of the new series, Lazarus.
I've offered to do it for the Patreon to get people to watch.
We've never created a Patreon, because I don't want... You have enough trouble as it is getting time, because by the time you've got home, it's almost time to go to bed after work. And then
get
you
4
do
hours
so
a night.
much... Yeah, then you do so much on Foundry, and we see the results of that. You know, I don't want to load anything extra.
Well, right now I'm in a Foundry glut. I'm waiting. I've got everything that's come out so far. I'm waiting for new stuff.
It's when they come out with the new OGL or whatever the hell it's called.
When they come out with the new Savage Rifts box set and South America book, I will start entering it all into Foundry.
South America.
South
I remember
America.
South America. We destroyed it.
Yeah, South America.
This is an old
really
campaign,
powerful.
a mercenary campaign, and we were in a room, and somebody turned around and said, "I'm going to fire my gun," and the games master said, "Are you sure?" "Yeah." "Okay, can I have all your character sheets, please?" "Right. Well, congratulations, you've destroyed South America." "How?" "The room was full of nuclear missiles, and firing those rounds set them off." "Not guilty! I may have destroyed a planet and almost the universe, but I did not destroy South America."
Well, that's good.
"Exactly. I'm proud of my achievement." God.
I'm looking forward to entering data on mutant cats, Amazon women, new magic, anti-monsters.
Ah, interesting. I see what you mean. And I suppose that they're taking it all down, the Aztec and Inca.
Well, the Incas are an actual faction in Rifts.
Okay.
There's also the Megaversal Legion.
They've just stuffed words together, haven't they?
A lot of times, yeah.
Yeah.
The
It's a bit like
Amaki duelists are fun.
And this week it's strawberries. Every bloody week she does this to me. I never
At
know
least
what's
it's
coming
healthy.
next.
It's a strawberry.
Proper strawberry. It's strawberry season here.
Oh, by the way, if any of you managed to find some tomatoes, can you let me know?
Yeah, you're.
Our salad stuff has gone down, basically because we get it from Spain and Morocco, and they've had an unseasonably cold year, and things haven't gone very well. And so apparently salad stuff's going to take about 4 weeks to filter back through. And everybody's complaining about it.
You can grow those plants, right?
Well, one politician says we need to eat more seasonally. But she also suggested, I don't see a problem with this. People should eat more turnips.
Okay, well, there's a lot of problems with that culinarily. In that
Well, it
turnips
makes me
take-
vomit.
Well, there are people who don't do well with turnips.
No.
We
Or
can do
vegetables.
borscht. Can you do beets?
No, I don't really like beetroot.
'Cause
Turnips take a lot of energy to cook.
Yeah.
They don't give you that much nutrition. They're nice. They're fine. They're fine as far as root vegetables go. But it doesn't. It's not a 1-to-1 comparison.
Is that the sort of comment a minister should be making?
Well,
This is the Minister
no.
for Equalities who's anti-trans.
Oh, charming. Also, probably you shouldn't talk if you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, she's a politician. They're never going to stop that.
Dog's trying to bonk the cat.
Ah,
For viewers,
Well,
it's the female dog trying to bonk the male
So-
cat.
of course.
So what I'm hearing is England is going to start doing victory gardens again.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I actually think that would do some good. Because it would mean that, people would get a bit of exercise. And B, they'd have fresh food. I mean, when I was in Jersey, we ate fresh all the time. We were very, very lucky. The allotment we had was essentially a field. And we were able to grow absolutely everything there, and we did. Plus, when it came to meat, occasionally a rabbit would mysteriously turn up on the doorstep. Or there'd be fresh fish.
Yeah, I have a
caught
cat
morning.
for that. He drops things off.
And of course, the butchers, it was all fresh. So I was incredibly lucky. And I think it might do people health-wise to be able to eat fresh like that.
It probably would.
Good. And that
the
sense of
downside
satisfaction as well, of having done
of
it.
having grown, but growing your own food is time-consuming,
Yes.
and it requires a certain amount of knowledge and land or
Yes.
areas of growing. You know,
I
you
agree.
could have vertical growing.
I mean, we
whatever.
do have allotments around the place that you can rent. No, I do agree with you.
I mean, I have
I don't
lots
think
of herbs
it's
out in
something
my
that
garden.
would be possible with the way modern society is formed now. I don't think
I've seen
as
a
a big
lot.
thing. Things would have to
I've
change
seen
a
a
little
lot of British rental shows,
bit. Yeah.
and they're always focusing on grow houses.
You're going to have to actually give me the name of a show so I can double check what you're saying. Because I don't recognise that.
It's on YouTube. There's a YouTube
There's
one.
the answer.
Anyway, it's an old one.
No, it's
But yeah, the grow houses.
Garden.
And I mean,
And I grow herbs and things. I
yeah,
have chives and basil and, you know.
well,
thyme
like I
and all
say, I
that
mean,
kind
we
of-
had everything fresh, and even when my mum remarried, we still had a herb garden. You know, fresh mint, fresh thyme.
it doesn't
Mint can't
go
be trusted in the
much.
ground here because it won't die back. So it will
is a
take
bit of a
over the
goer,
entire
isn't it?
planet.
Yeah. But my God, it'll be fresh.
It would be fresh.
It would be
and
fresh.
It's strawberry season here.
No,
why I have-
really, Lilibet, you surprise me.
It is. We have the strawberry festival, which is a real thing.
Just rubbing this in now.
Well, when I went over the first time and we were in the grocery store, and Dave was like, "You like strawberries?" And he showed me this packet of these poor little pathetic tiny little white things. What are those? They're strawberries. They're not, though. Those were meant to be in the ground several more weeks. Why
Yeah.
are they in the store?
It's the same with bananas. I got to admit, our strawberries, we never really had. They've done something to strawberries to beef them up a bit over the years, to be fair. I don't know what, it's chemicals
Probably.
or something.
Well, they've crossbred and things. Wild strawberries are much smaller than
That's probably the ones we had. Then.
commercial
Yeah.
strawberries. Yeah.
We'd always have fresh apples for apple pie because we had windfalls, cooking apple tree. Beans, peas, potatoes, cabbage, cauliflower.
That's what you need to do, and
raspberries.
you move out into the country.
I'm a country girl by at heart, to be fair. or as good, near as damn it anyway. You know, I've ridden horses bareback at farms and chased sheep. That was fun. I've done my fair share. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there you go. Move out to the country, get some fresh food.
Like I say, we'll discuss that afterwards. Yeah. Trouble is, I'm too fussy nowadays. I've always have been.
Move out to the country, eat a lot of peaches.
I only like tinned peaches. Far too much sugar with the syrup, you know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I do like a nice pink apple, as long as it's really, really juicy. And of course, there's my addiction to bananas. I do like bananas.
They're good for you.
Yeah, everything is good for you up to a point. If you have too much of it, it starts to sort of swing back the other way, and that can happen with bananas and me.
Oh well, yes, that bananas can cause situations.
Well, quite. That's a good way of putting that. I like that.
Well, the peaches balance it out, though.
So would the prunes, I imagine.
Well, yes, but peaches and
my
nectarines
nan used
go
to
the
eat
other
prunes.
direction.
Oh,
it's
remember,
horrible.
prune
They'd
juice
spit
is
the
the
pips out.
traditional drink of a Klingon warrior.
Oh yes, of course. Yes.
Warriors.
Yep.
Oh, my cup is from when we went last year to the Tigers to see them play. Spring training started this week, so we suddenly got crowds in town for baseball.
Oh, rounders. Okay. Thing is, I understand rounders. I don't understand baseball.
Baseball. I took Dave to a spring training game the first time he came over, and he went, "This is the most relaxed sport I have ever seen."
Bollocks. Cricket's more relaxed than that.
People clap and they go, and then, everybody gets up and has a stretch halfway through. They play music.
Should have taken them to a Yankees and Sox game.
Well, yeah, those aren't mellow. We
No, he would have been used to that. Remember, he was a Millwall fan.
Yes, that's true. He's a Millwall fan. The baseball stadium near me, we have a local AAA team associated with the Tigers. And so the Tigers spring train here. So you can see professional baseball in town, which is always nice.
Oh, I think they sometimes have, before the league starts football over here, some of the bigger clubs play some of the smaller clubs, but they send their secondary team on to get experience and stuff like that. As warm-up matches, I think they call them.
Yeah. And spring training's nice because and they play 9 innings and then they're done. Whatever the score is, they're done. Normally, baseball isn't like that.
Okay.
Normally, you play to a winner. You don't play to a tie.
Nice.
And so we were at the spring training, and they played 9 innings, and they were done, and it was tied. And there was a guy who'd had, 3 or 4 too many beers, and was very upset. There's no ties in baseball. Like, yeah, there is. There's spring training. The whole thing. There's ties in baseball.
Everybody gets a medal for taking part.
Yes, baseball's fun. I
Rounders.
am no good at it. We used to have to play in school, and I used to get very upset because I was very, very bad at hitting the ball. So on the odd occasion that I actually got on base, inevitably somebody else would get out, and I'd lose then you lose your base, and you go back to the dugout and see.
Hang on a second. Who's on first?
Well, yes.
What's on
exactly.
second?
I don't know.
I don't know who's on third.
Third base.
Third, yes.
Yes. And I used to get very mad that when my team got up again, I didn't get to retake my base.
You have to start
I
fresh.
worked for that. Why do I have to start over?
That makes sense. That makes perfect
Let me
sense.
Get back to where I was.
Ah, dear. I think we better go.
I think so.
All right, so next week, Doctor Who and the Dinosaur Invasion, the new Big Finish 11th Doctor set, Callan and Space Colon. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So, say goodbye, I suppose.
Goodbye, I suppose.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the wrong file to shut the show with. We'll let it run, and I'll still say goodbye. And you get to hear this music again. It's lovely. Yes, I know I did it, but it's still lovely.
But what about John Levine?
Yes. What about John Levine? No goat.